Some few years ago, some 3 years ago, we were at 130,000 registered firearms or firearms in the hands of the public that are legally. And if one calculates for today, if it was 120, 133 years ago, by now we might be closer to 170,000 firearms that are illegally issued to members of the public or lawful owned by members of the public. And there is unknown figures of illegal firearms still in circulation due to the fact that Namibia is sandwiched by two countries, that a big giant, that is Angola and South Africa. And we know the war that ravaged our region for many years. So after the war, there were many firearms that were left in the hands of individuals. Some armed caches were left undisclosed, and then some people who were who were engaged in the different type of war. Some of them, they knew where these armed caches were, and they start now selling these firearms illegally selling these firearms to different individuals in our countries. So that fuel up the number of illegal firearms in the hands of members of the public. And to tell you the truth, both illegal and the legal firearms are used in violent crimes. In some cases, they are used in these violent crimes, like murders, armed robberies, any other activities that are really violent in our society. You find the firearms are used as weapons to commit a crime of a different type. So it's a serious concern when you talk about those firearms. And the other issue is the issue of issuing firearms. The Firearm Act and Ammunition, the way it was crafted, is from the beginning. It left a very big and wide gap for people to acquire firearms easily. It was not tightened up the process of issuing a firearm to anybody. So it was easy, or is still easy, in Namibia to acquire a firearm. And that is the problem, that risk that everybody in Namibia will fire a firearm, and that is a very risk. And particularly, we are talking about handguns. That is the pistols. When you look at the reason, most of the common reason is self-defense. It's hardly, I know there is a conflict between wildlife and the human being. But in most cases, this self-defense is man to man. And I can tell you that you go to any drinking place or in any transport, public transport, if there are 8 men, probably 5 of them, if not 6, are armed with pistols. And some people who are acquiring firearms who appears to be very angels when they are applying firearms. Because you can't see in the heart of someone. I can tell you some of them, they are the devil than the name itself. They are short-tempered, and they are troublemakers in their own areas of residence. And because when they apply, there is no system, there is no requirement for you to go and ask the neighborhood, the temperament, the type of a person, the relationship between him and the members of the neighborhood or neighbor, or even at the work environment. So you will end up just asking, do you had a previous conviction? No, I didn't have. Were you involved in any crime? No, we check the fingerprint. You are clean. Then you buy a firearm. And then you find that many people that are having firearms today, they are not qualified to have a firearm. And even it is issue that a challenge, is a challenge today for the society. That is the gender-based violence. It's a serious that in most cases firearms are used. Firearms are, even this one recently in Msati, a teacher to teacher. People that you can think that if a person is a teacher, can control emotions, can at least have a patience, and they can have a different alternative to solve problem, they are involved in this. And what is used? What is the mother weapon? The mother weapon is a firearm. So that's why I've been calling the public conscience for us even to revolt, to say no firearm. But since I can't guarantee every time the safety of everyone as the head of the police, you have criminals that are sometimes attacking people in their homes and so on. Then you have an understanding to say, okay, we should try to have a law that allows people to possess legally firearms, but there should be strict measures in acquiring a firearm. Firearm issuance should be controlled, and it should make it difficult for anyone to get a firearm. If we are in this house and we are 10, and my children are 19, 18, 20, and there are 5 men, and I'm here, they can all acquire firearm. Myself, I'm there. The wife will acquire firearm. Our house is like a military base. And if our house is a military base, you multiply by families or communities or houses in Windhoek. Some probably have got 5, some have got 3, some have got... I can tell you, this is like the country will be like a NATO military, operation base. And it is a problem. And then you have people who are selling liquors in their shabins and outlet. There is no sign at their business to say it is totally prohibited to enter with a weapon in my business. Don't attempt to come with a weapon in my business. This is a place of peace, a place of joy, and the people wanted to enjoy in peace at my place. So because there is no, people are entering in Shabin with firearms, When they enter there, they are sober. When they start, we call it the word of encouragement, they start empowering their mind, and then anything that comes there as a conflict, the first thing they do is to resort to the firearm. Fighting for women, fighting for men, and that will start like a small quarrel, will end up in a tragedy because someone or some people will be killed. I don't know, remember in a single quarter, a nurse, apparently it was an issue of a cell phone just a cell phone that disappeared there. And when he came there, peaceful people who were drinking there in their peace mind, this man, I think he killed about 4 people in a bar with a firearm. It was some years ago. I think he was probably killed now. In single quarter. And I think he was a nurse, just because of a cell phone. So, firearms are not good equipment to have in a society that is really strive to have to live in peace and tranquility. I know I have got no problem with the rifles and the shotguns for these are meant for hunting. And our society, there are even trophy hunting. There are people who have got farms. They have got different purpose. And even if someone is coming from a distance, you can see that this one is carrying a gun. And even you go to the statistic, they are not much used in the commission of violent crime. Yes, they are used in poaching, which is also a crime, but it can be controlled easily. So, with that, we came up with an amendment of the Arms and Ammunition Act. We suggested the amendment to make it more rigid by having a background check. I know it will be difficult to have a background check of any applicant for a firearm, even to have to test people whether they know how to handle a firearm. And probably to check people properly when it comes to psycho testing. There are many other issues that we have added there, but I can't remember, I can't recall all of them. But the amendment, the act now, I'm sure it is with the Ministry of Justice, either with the legal drafter, and soon, probably, if not this year, early next year, it will see the corridor of Parliament. And I wanted the people really to urge our legislatures, probably to add more. Even if they say no more small firearms should be issued, I would be at peace. We can even look at the example of Botswana. In Botswana, firearms are very, very, they've got a system to control the issues of firearms. I think they even give quotas per region, either 2 firearms per region or whatever. So you have per year only a very small number of firearms issued, if at all they are issuing licensing for small firearm or handgun. So we hopefully, when it goes through, it will put more strict measures in the issues of firearm, and to make a bit difficult for anybody to acquire a firearm. So that is what I can say so far when it comes to the licensing and the possessions of firearms. When it comes to service firearms, there is a strict control on the issuance of service firearms, meaning that police officers are given firearms when they are on duty. Depending on the duty, the type of duty they are doing, you might find someone is given 2 firearms. One is a pistol and the one is a rifle. Depending on the type of duty that a particular person. Also depend on the type of mission a police officer is going to undertake. And they are not issued permanently. The procedure is when you are on duty, you are issued with the firearms. When you are off duty, you hand in the firearms. You book it out and you book it in. Meaning that when you are going on duty, book it out. When you finish the duty, you book it in. Because the other one who come will all book it out. Because nobody is having a permanent firearm. But that it depends. You have a different units in the police. There are units that are ready on standby for 24 hours. For any trouble in the society that might happen at any time, these people, they've got 24 hours firearms readily. But they are more in unit and they are more meant to stay together at one place. So that when the call comes, all of them, they move together. And even though in that, normally they have got a store where all the firearms are kept. Sometimes the call comes, you can just wake them up, or you just make a call, everybody firearm, and off they go for duty. So there is no a police officer who is given a permanent firearms. But it depends the duty a police officer is carrying. I can tell you, like the special field force that are at the border, even though they are at the border, the firearms, they are also booked to them when they are going for duty, patrol, and so forth. We have a special reserve force. Special reserve force, these are anti-riots, anti-public riots. You have to equip a police officer reasonably, because it will be also inhumane to expose the police to such a kind of crowd which is very angry and emotional, that might run over police officers and they kill police officers. You should equip a police officer to the extent that they are able to defend themselves, to expel their attacking force that is coming from the angry crowds, to protect themselves. But then in that process of trying to stop and expel that, the force should be reasonable, not to cause unnecessary loss of life on the other side. Then what do? You arm the police with bulletproof, you arm the police with the handcuff and the batons, you arm the police with shield, and then if the first line of the police fail to control, and the other side is too furious and too violent, to the extent that they are destroying properties, and there's a risk that life might be lost, then you have to come to another step. where you might have a live bullet. But our live bullets, first you have to fire in the air, just to scare off of the public. You will only fire to a target, to an attacking person, if you see that your life is in a serious, imminent threat. That if I don't shoot, I will be shot and I will be killed. If I don't shoot, those women and those children will be killed. Those properties, they will be destroyed. That is now the principle of self-defense for the police. Self-defense can be for the police or for anybody. You can also use the same principle to defend yourself or to defend the property or other citizen. If you see there is a woman being shot at by criminal or almost be shot and you are there, you can draw that firearm that is legally to defend that woman and you might be shot. But our shooting should not be that to kill. It's to stop the advancement of the violence. You shoot on the foot. First you shoot in the dependent circumstance, of course. This thing is dependent because in practical sometimes things are impossible. By the time you shoot in the air, you are already gone. It depends how the things are. So you can defend with that firearm government property, other human life, or any others. If my neighbor is attacked and they give me a call and say I'm under attack and my house is surrounded by criminals and all of them they are armed, that is a circumstance that I have to defend that citizen who is there. And also depend, because sometimes a person can come with hallucination, my house is surrounded. Well, these are just people looking for their furniture. Probably they have got a court order. You can also just wake up when they start shooting without verifying
what's going on.
Yeah, so that is the situation when it comes to public disorder policing, or what is this? When you are policing crowds that are violent, but normally shoot in the air 3 times, many people will just to scare them off. And if you at any time you have to shoot at the person, probably violent, running at you, first shoot on the foot, not to kill. Then the justice will take its course. Person will be tried, and then they will be accountable for whatever action he or she was trying to do. You know, every case where there is a shooting, whatever justification, cases are registered and investigated. More so where there is a loss of life. A murder case has to be registered and the investigation has to be conducted. And another institution has to decide on the fate of this docket. If in that institution that I'm talking about is the Prosecutor General's office, the docket has to be opened, it's another docket. All investigation and all evidence has to be collected. When the docket is finished, it has to be sent to the Prosecutor General's office. Prosecutor General will check all the circumstances involved under which this whole incident occurred, and then she or he will decide to prosecute. After deciding to prosecute on that case, it will go to court, where all evidence will be adduced by witnesses accused, by witnesses and the suspect, and then the court will decide. If the court so decides that the person who fired the firearm, independently of the circumstance that, or the fact that he is a police officer, and he was not supposed to shoot, and he was supposed to shoot, but not in that way.
Not fatally.
The court might decide to find guilty this particular person, because even in this case of the car, I don't want to comment because it's a case is prejudicate. I'm just telling you in the
as an example.
Yeah, in the general terms that every case where there is a human life lost, whether justified or not justified, a case has to be opened. And evidence needed to be adduced. If the person that fired the firearm had a reasonable suspicion, and he has used the reasonable force to repel to shoot, you might find that he or she will not be found guilty. But in contrary, if it is not that, you might find that the person will be found guilty. They don't look at you are an army person or you are a police, and then you shoot a person, then no. It used to be in the past.
Yeah.
No, that one depends on the circumstances of event. If my office sees that the shooting really, it is totally unwarranted for, I might decide for suspension.
Okay.
Particularly when I can also even suspend you to allow investigation to go smoothly, to avoid you interfering with the investigation. But sometimes you can see that the person really, if he could not shoot, he could not survive by that time. Then it's not reasonable to suspend someone. You might change the working environment. Let me say you shift him or her from this area and send him somewhere, so that you take him away from the eyes of families and friends, where you might take him somewhere. I can remember I can't remember correctly where, but it was recently, a police officer who shot someone. I don't know, I don't have all the evidence, but the police officer was shocked. He was running mad. He ended up in the ICU because he realized that the extent to which the whole shooting ended up, I think either someone lost life or was seriously injured. And then this police officer was totally shocked, totally shocked, and ended up in the ICU. So you have to look at the circumstance, you see, so that you don't put the police officer also in awkward position, not to use their discretional judgment when they should shoot, how to shoot, where to shoot, and when they should not shoot. Because you end up with police and say, no, I did not shoot because I don't want to put myself in a problem. But it will be a negligence of duty, of course. The negligence of duty, you will be charged because you did not defend the lives of others. But we don't want to put a police officer in that circumstances. But we want them to make proper judgment when to shoot and when not to shoot, where to shoot and where not to shoot. Because shooting with a live bullet, it should be the last resort in any process. Police officers are trained for 6 months. In their training, they have different subjects, and one of the subjects is what they call skill at arm, and it's where they are taught how to handle firearms, how to shoot, how to dismantle, how to clean, how to keep it, and also the skillet arm. Within the period of 6 months, they have also that subject. So they are properly trained in those. But you have sometimes a number of those who fails, particularly in shooting, because it's very important for you to know how to shoot. You might find at circumstances, at a time that you need to shoot a running target. Someone who shoot here and started running, shoot there. And when the person is running among people. If you are not well vested in sharp shooting, you might shoot a wrong person.
A civilian.
It's a civilian who has nothing to do, because this person is running among and is shooting behind, So some of them, they fail, and it is a problem to us to deploy them. But what we do, we deploy them, and then we have a program of continuing shaping them. So that is the issue that we are dealing with the skillet arm. Yeah, because all of them, we have, particularly when they are joining, we have doctors that are examining them. Apart from other examination, the doctor, the basic, we don't take them to specialists, but the basic, to look at the person, yeah, we do that, but probably we need to have a specialized analysis, because you end up like one of the recruitment that we detected two who have got these transitory mental lapses. Today they are okay, tomorrow is a different person altogether. So, and I had to discharge them. Immediately, these things is detected at the college. Basically, because of resources, I think, on the beginning. But we want to introduce another psychometric test. We are in the process of introducing psychometric tests, particularly targeting those that are in VIP. Those are getting important people. We are trying to come up with a psychometric regime of testing after a certain time, probably after, depending on the resources, probably after every 6 months or every year. There are a few incidents that had happened. Some are really tragic one. Even the issue of this lady that you were talking about, and the other one, where police, there is no doubt that the police were involved. I'm not talking about the Latip one, because the Latip one, nobody knows who fired it. But there are a few incidents. That's why we are working so seriously on the issue of the usage of firearm by the police. We want to have a zero year without any, unless criminals that are really armed. But normally unarmed civilians, even if they are throwing stones, to make sure that no police officers involved in the shooting to an unarmed. You might shoot to a car that is trying to speed off, but the intention is to shoot at the tire to stop the car. Shoot in the air. If there's a possibility to chase the car. There's a possibility to copy the number plate. Some number plates are fake. Depends also on the circumstance. Also, the circumstance of the crime that is committed. If someone is a shoplifting, got chocolate and is running away, why should you shoot it? And you might kill a person just because of chocolate. Yeah. It's a matter of proper judgment. You see, if someone shoots 5 people here and is running, that is a justifying circumstance to shoot someone on the leg, or to shoot the person to kill because you don't know. Maybe 5 will be 8 or 10. Maybe this person is mad. You don't know. But if there is a possibility for neutralizing him, not to kill him, fine. But if you see that many lives are at risk, you have to bring him down or her down. I'm saying him because most of these cases are men. As part of their business is to procure and import firearms from wherever they find this type of firearms that are more suitable for their client. So they import firearms either from South Africa, from China, from Britain, and when they come here, they sell. You go to the dealers, you identify a firearm, and then you say this one, and then you pay. And then when you pay, you go to the police, you get a fingerprint. When you get a fingerprint, then they look at your fingerprint, and then you have what they call police clearance of good conduct. You don't have anything, the police will tell you, you are clean, you go back at where you paid your firearm, and then you collect your firearm, and then we issue license. Then we will give you license. So they are just like any other business. You import orange from wherever, you sell. The only thing, the difference is that orange, you need no license for you to possess it. You buy it and you go and eat it. But the firearm now, after you buy it, you need a license. And that license, you will only be given it if you meet the requirement for that license. The police will also inspect your, since the requirement is a safe, the police will go and inspect where you're going to keep the firearm after you bought it. What you find is that in some cases, people neglect this duty and they trust more on the statement given to the citizen. And this is where sometimes we go wrong. If we don't really go until to the facility, to the house, and they make sure that there is a safe, and that safe meet the requirement to keep safe that firearm. There is a process of disposing old, particularly lost and found, and some of the guns that are obsolete. And in terms of SADC agreement, every country, we have got, I think it's June or July, every year in June or July, we should destroy those obsolete firearms, and found and even some are explosives and so on. And we account, every year we account for the disposal of those obsolete firearms. So normally those firearms, they are disposed and destroyed. We have a destruction site where they are put there and they are destroyed there. Security companies, they are obliged to ensure that their personnel are properly trained in the handling of firearms, and when they should shoot and what they should shoot. But the security companies, they are obliged to train them, just like the police. They should not be trigger happy. They should know when to shoot and when not to shoot, and where to shoot. We have some few cases where they have been arrested. Security guards have been arrested for having shot to people. But these guys, they are also, their lives is the risk. In many incidents, you find them that they are shot by criminals, they are tied up by criminals. So they are also having their life at stake. But they don't need to shoot it to just as like the police, to innocent unarmed civilian if their lives are not at imminent threat. But in many cases we have find situation where security guards are really brutalized by criminals, and definitely they have to be always vigilant and to defend themselves. But in the occasion that they shoot it to normal people who they don't need to do that.